Today we're trying Mad Max again for the first time in almost 8 years. Yeah, it's been 8 years since this game came out. Do you feel old yet? I'm really starting to feel old. But yeah, it's been almost 8 years since this released. Now this game was developed by Avalanche, who you might be familiar with. They did the Just Cause games, for example, but they did not do Hogwarts Legacy. A common misconception is that the Avalanche that made Hogwarts Legacy made this game. Not true, it's a different studio, though they share a very similar name. Common misconception, but two totally different studios. However, what they developed here is one of the most unique open world adventure games that I've ever played, and it's because the archetype of gameplay is very different than what you're used to. You have a very large open map. For the sake of demonstration purposes, the save file I'm using here has 100% completion. Everything's been done, and you can see it's extremely expansive in terms of just what's available to you. If you know anything about Mad Max, you'll know that this is a post-apocalyptic game where you're exploring a world that, as you can see, is it's seen some better days, but you do it by using your vehicle and the gas that powers it to navigate the wastes and conquer enemies and foes, junkers and raiders like the ones you see coming up on me now. I didn't plan on this, but you know what? We're gonna just have to deal with it. So what's interesting is while you can customize the protagonist and your loadout and everything like that in whatever way you would like, most of the customization and progression is tied up in your vehicle. At the very start of the game, you have a pile of crap that you're trying to make work for your purposes, but it's not enough to really make it through the wastes and get where you need to go for sake of the story. So you'll spend most of the game upgrading your vehicle with all sorts of different parts, like spikes you can see here, improved shielding to make sure that you can withstand attacks such as this one, weapons, different boosts, so if you want a quick nitrous boost, you can do that. Whatever you need to do in order to better survive. And bizarrely enough, there's also an element of RPG customization to this where you can actually tweak your car to better fit your playstyle. If you want a car that's just a tank, that's slow moving, that has ridiculous amounts of armor, but it doesn't take any damage at all, you can do that. If you want something that's more nimble, where you can outflank and maneuver your enemies, you can do that. You can really tweak it so it's like an RPG, but for cars. And as you're exploring the wastes, you will see that there's all sorts of enemies and encampments you can find. And as you go through them, you'll find gas tanks because your car will always need gas as you explore. Because, I mean, it's the post-apocalypse. The most valuable thing for a lot of these people is actually the gas that they're using to navigate. And then you'll get shot, and then you'll probably die. And in that same vein, when you die in combat, which I totally did not just do in between these shots, you can come back here, you can customize your vehicle, or you can swap vehicles to different things that you've collected throughout the game. Again, this save file has 100% completion, so it has every single vehicle in the game for you to check out. This one's a little crazy, but I mean, there's just so many that you can collect based on what you like visually, what you think is useful in terms of gameplay, everything else. It's super expansive. Look at this, Rockstar sponsored this car, so it's the Rockstar energy drink buggy. It's just outrageous, but it's super fun. Like, they actually did a really good job with it. I mean, it looks good, it's fast as hell, it's just fun. Now, interestingly enough, this game has somewhat of a reputation among gaming circles and industry insiders with Avalanche and everybody else, because on the one hand, it's really beloved. People who have played this game freaking love it and always talk very, very highly about it. But at the same time, it's usually considered to be a bit of a black sheep because it was such a weird title for them to choose to pursue that it really didn't stand many chances of being a financial success, even though players that have tried it really, really enjoy it. And since the launch of this game, surprisingly, there's been no talks openly of like a big sequel or any DLC or anything like that. The game came out in 2015 and was largely forgotten by the publisher, Warner Brothers, who again recently published Hogwarts Legacy, of course, and by the developers themselves, Avalanche, who have moved on to other big projects. though projects not related to the Mad Max franchise. And this could be for a variety of reasons, such as, oh, maybe it didn't commercially perform, even though most numbers say that since it's launched, it's actually done very, very well. Maybe it's perhaps because they had some sort of licensing dispute and they couldn't get rights to the Mad Max franchise again. Maybe it's some other political thing going on in the background. But honestly, I think what it is, it's just as simple as they had the vision for this game and they decided that this was it. This was what they wanted to do. This was the game they wanted to make. They did it, and it was really good. People enjoyed it, and now they're just moving on to other projects. Why milk a franchise into 15 releases if you don't have to? This game you're seeing right now on screen is going on 8 years old, and it still looks really freaking good. It plays really freaking well, and it's interesting to boot. Like, this world is so much different than any of the other open world adventure games that you'll ever play. I mean, how many other post-apocalyptic worlds do you explore with vehicles like this, where most of the role-playing mechanics are tied up in vehicle customization? It's just not really a thing, which is why this game is such a black sheep and such a weird release, and also why it's so unique and why so many people hold it so close to their hearts, because it's just so different. I will also say this game kind of reaffirmed for me that a Fallout game with vehicles and vehicle customization would be freaking amazing. And I doubt we'll ever see that, at least in my lifetime, because at this point we're probably not getting Fallout 4 until I'm 85 or 86 years old. But maybe one day, like, my children or my children's children will get the chance to play a Fallout game with this level of vehicle exploration and this expanse of a map, and also this level of graphics. I mean, that would be great. That'd be great. Oh, and this is really funny. So when you break your car, if you get out, you'll notice our little friend will come up here and we'll start repairing the vehicle, so that if we need to fight off anybody on the sides, we can do that, you know, and make sure he's safe while he fixes up the car. And then if we finish up, then we jump back in the car and we can keep on going. It's super fun. And I mean, really, the level of vehicle customization is just crazy. You can tweak it to your heart's content, improving the sniper rifle, grapple hooks, anything else like that. The tires, if you find that you're going off-road a lot, you can swap out tires based on that. You can improve it, see tire traction based on asphalt, that can be improved. But if we're going on sand a lot, we'll swap to sand tires, and that'll serve us much better, though on asphalt they won't perform as well. And you can just tweak this all out into whatever you want, and it works really smoothly, and it's just frankly fun. Furthermore, this is one of the weirder Warner Brothers titles, because this came out, like I said, in 2015. In 2015, Warner Brothers was revving up for the release of Middle-earth: Shadow of War, just about a year and a half after this game came out. And that game was so freaking filled to the brim with microtransactions, loot boxes, and everything that it largely killed that game, at least for the first 6 months or so of its existence. People were just so fed up with the microtransactions that they decided to just not play it. And so Warner Brothers had to go back in with Monolith, the developers, and figure out how to fix the game, because it was built on selling you all of these loot boxes and microtransactions. But interestingly enough, Mad Max doesn't have that problem. It just doesn't. Like, it's just a complete game with amazing mechanics, lots of customization and variability in gameplay and exploration. It's freaking fun. It's not like the biggest game. It'll probably take you like 20 to 30 hours to complete when all is said and done, but it's a complete package, and it's just awesome. Personally, I've always wanted to go back to Mad Max and play through it again for like a critique or something, a retrospective on this channel, because I really enjoy the game, and it's always held a special place in my heart, because it's one of the first games that I played on my very first PC that I built for Fallout 4. And I saw, even back then in 2015, just how freaking gorgeous it was, and how the art direction was just breathtaking in sequences like this, where it's just amazing. And even though there's nothing in this world that seems to be filled with life, the world still feels like it's worth exploring. It's just fascinating to me. This game really did sort of set the standard for me in terms of world building and ambience in this way for big open world expansive adventure games. And you know what? Maybe we will go back and do another critique on it. Maybe we'll do something like that. If you'd like to see me go back and give this the full critique treatment, let me know in the comments, and I would very much enjoy doing that, but I'm only going to do it if you guys would want to watch it. So let me know, and then I can justify doing it. Because, you know, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's a lot of really, really weird things by default. Like if I get out of the car here, the jump button is automatically defaulted to left trigger for some reason. I don't know why. The shotgun blast and guns are tied to B. I don't really know why that is. Like there's a bunch of weird things. Right bumper is roll, which I can deal with. Left bumper is aiming this, and then B is to fire. So there's weird eccentricities, and you can reroute a lot of this stuff, so it's not that big of a deal. But there's little weird stuff like that sprinkled all the way throughout the game, where it feels like a 2003 game with an amazing modern coat of paint. And so it's interesting. There's a lot to say about this game, but the general point of this video is just to say that this game is freaking awesome, and if you have never played it, you absolutely should. You don't even have to have a background or a knowledge of the Mad Max films or the origin story or anything like that, the inspirations for the narrative. You can just go into it raw and you'll still have a great time. It was, of course, originally releasing, and they were going to try to tie it into the release of the film and try to make all of that really successful and make it just click nicely. And I think that probably helped the game, and the game probably helped the film a little bit, but it didn't turn into the you scratch my back, I scratch your sort of symbiotic relationship I think a lot of the executives were hoping for. Because again, this game came out and then it's just kind of sat on shelves since then and been largely forgotten. And if they ever did a sequel for this, I'd be very, very happy. But it's also, as a package right now, it holds up. It's aged really well, and it's a blast. Check it out on Steam or any other online store that you use. I'm sure it's available there. I can't recommend it enough. And again, if you want to hear me do a critique or a retrospective review on it, let me know, because I'm just itching to dive back into this. I would love it. But thank you for watching. I love you all. Make sure to come over to our live channel. Just look up in the search bar, Luke Stevens Live. I'm live streaming when this video goes up. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm streaming. So come by, say hi. I would love to see you. Be like, hey, Luke, I just saw the Mad Max video. And I'll be like, ooh, that's awesome. What's up, dude? And you're going to be like, nothing much, dude. And I'm going to be like, that's sick, dude. Anyway, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be super fun. But okay, with that, I love you guys very, very much. I'll see you over on Luke Stevens Live or in the next upload, whichever comes first. And until then, I love you very much, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.